My love of law came from the fact that I witnessed a lot of people getting abused. A lot of people getting physically abused and emotionally abused. Back then, growing up, to hear a lady saying, no, this person beats me up because they love me. Like, what is that? I did not know that being self-employed gives you the freedom that it gives me now. You get to decide how you want your life to go. You get to decide how you want to run your organization. You get to decide what hours you want to work and who you want to work with. It doesn't get imposed.
I don't think society actually allows this woman to be soft. You know?
Yeah.
And how do you do, because you're in a very male-dominated, yes, times have changed, but the institution itself,
it's still very male-dominated.
It's male-dominated.
Yes.
So how do you continue being strong, powerful, but also being into your femininity, you know? Because we're just pretty flowers, guys.
I am still a woman. I'm still soft. I'm still, I still get affected by things. I still get overwhelmed by emotions. But when it comes to getting business done, you just have to get the business done.
Sanbonani, welcome to Top Women, a podcast brought to you by Vertical Productions. On today's show, boy oh boy, do I have a gorgeous lady for you guys. We are taking a stroll through the legal lane and field, but I don't want to know the going-ons on the courtroom. I want to know the lady behind the name. Today, I have a lady who is excelling in the legal field. Her name is Nokwazi, Miya. Sis Nokwazi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Looking gorgeous. I love the ode to the legal fields with that shirt.
Thank you.
I get it. You're not just a legal warrior. You're a fashionista as well.
Oh my gosh, yes, I love clothes. I love everything girly, but I'm not a girly, but yeah.
I love that. I love that. So before we get to you now, I want to find out, now take a stroll through memory lane with me. You're in a Lady Smith. When you close your eyes and you hear the word home, what are the first instances that come into mind?
Yeah, when I think of Ladysmith Umlambit, it's a small town that is inland. And when I think of home, I think of my grandmother who raised me, because my mother had me when she was very young. So I think of my grandmother, I think of my grandfather as well. And so I think of the home, it's move, it's so that for me becomes home. And and every person that I grew up with, those memories just go by my flashbacks.
Sorry, while you speak of that, automatically I'm there with you. I'm seeing a little Nokwazi. It's a Sunday, old school music is playing in the background, or church songs are counting to Ugo because I was raised by my grandmother. So I understand those disciplines. But now being raised by Ukoko Undumkulu, your grandparents, what did you think of the world back then? Because I know that their thinking and their way of doing things were a bit old school. So I'm trying to get, where did the love for law, what did you know about law at that time?
Okay, at that time, I think growing up, I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer, believe it or not.
Really?
I always knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. And my grandmother was very instrumental to people getting educated. I had a child when I was very young, and she said to me, you are going back to school. Going back to school and uzofunda and be able to raise this child on your own. So my grandmother was very big on education. So she played a very big role in me pursuing education and also doing law. And as well.
With law specifically, does it stem from the career, or was it a thing that, as Nokwazi Miya, I want to defend people that love? I just want to find out, because I'm thinking funny story, I tried to attempt it too. So I applaud you for getting this far. But I know now what I didn't know before, because I'll be honest with you, I grew up watching your NCIS, your Law and Order. So my understanding of law was what you saw on television until you get to school. So at that young age, and they're telling you about law, does the love for the profession come from the fact that, no, I want to defend people? What was your understanding of that?
My love of law came from the fact that I witnessed a lot of people getting abused. A lot of people getting physically abused and emotionally abused. And I said, like, that's the only thing that I'll be able to help women with, especially because it was women, and it was okay. Then back then, growing up, to hear a lady saying, no, this person beats me up because they love me. And what is that? Yeah, so I grew up witnessing a lot of abuse personally within the family. And so for me, I always knew that I wanted to put a stop to it. It has to stop.
I'm so glad that I'm happy or proud of the little Nokwazi who grew up and said, the challenges that I'm facing here at home, those will be my protagonist of going forward. Because I know, and I want us to talk a bit about that. And now this is you talking to the girl child, because we have so many people saying, I am going through this right now, and this is my situation. I cannot overcome it. You know, you just touched base on it. How did you mentally or emotionally pick yourself up from that place and say, me, now I'm going to go forward?
Having a family, like a grandmother, as I said, I grew up with my grandmother. She was a very strong woman. But obviously, being a grandmother and being old, there are things that back in the day were taboo to talk about. You could not talk about certain things. So those are the things that really propelled me to say, you know what, I don't want another person to go through what I've gone through, and to witness at a young age what I witnessed. So those were my experience, my personal experience was some of the things that propelled me and gave me that, you know, that energy to say, actually, this is what I want to do. And my thoughts of becoming a lawyer were actually in the right place.
So let's get back to it now. So now you're jumping from the childhood, and now you're working, now you're a lawyer. I've heard, and I want to find Moti, you worked at the World Cup. Girl, are you going to tell us more about that? But you've worked in different avenues. And then you started your own law firm. What is a constant lie that you were told that could have pitted a seed of fear in starting that law firm, and things that are said in those spaces that you now understand was a complete and total utter lie?
Yeah, because I you know, growing up, you know, the stage is set. You must go to school, after school varsity, after varsity apply, get a job, and then you just work throughout your life. And I did not know that being self-employed gives you the freedom that it gives me now. You get to decide how you want your life to go. You get to decide how you want to run your organization. You get to decide what hours you want to work and who you want to work with. It doesn't get imposed. So those are the things that you know, that I did not know when I was working, because when I was employed it was just 4 to 5, and you are in this 4-corner office, and whatever you are given you must just do, and you don't have the freedom to think outside of the box, because you tend to only focus on what you are given. Whereas when you are now self-employed, you get stretched to the limits, because you have to make it work. It's you that decided that you wanted to be self-employed, so you just have to make it work.
I always make a joke, Sis Nokwazi, that actually it's easier being employed than being self-employed, because if you're employed, you've got a 9 to 5. After 5, you check out. As a CEO and boss babe, you're on 24/7.
Yeah, you can't. There's no chance of time when you are self-employed. You know, you wake up even in the wee hours of the morning thinking,
to get things done.
Oh my gosh, I forgot to send an email, or I need to prep for a case, or whatever the case may be. So it just never stops until you really, really plan your time. But there are those times when you really are unable to control what working after hours. Yeah.
With that, now we in talking about the law field, the law space.
Yeah.
And I can imagine being green behind the ears when you're thinking that, okay, the law is straight. So I want to find out, when it came to you realizing that being legally right isn't always right. You know, especially in the political environment that we live in South Africa. How are you able to navigate being legally right, emotionally right, and politically right?
Yeah, that's I don't even know if that is attainable, because I'm not sure if there's ever anything that you can call being legally right, because remember, your views are your views. So if I believe that I'm right, and if I'm looking at this water and I say this water is gray, someone will say no, water has no color. You see, so it really depends on at which point you are in life. But to get back to your question, in terms of, I guess you want to know the balance, how you balance like work, political space, and to be politically correct as well. You just have to, what works for me is that I'm apolitical. I try to stay as apolitical as possible, because someone will say, but there's no such thing. You have to say something, who you go with. But because of the nature of the work that I do, I represent different clients. So I don't want to be in a situation where I'm losing a client because a client says you are affiliated. Yes. But at the same time, I am consciously aware of the political environment that we operate under, and but I don't let that affect the way that I see things and the way that I interpret the law. So it's a matter of really trying to find a balance. And when it comes to being legally right, you just have to rely on what the law says and the interpretation that you have to give, or at that particular point in time. But as for being right, that is very subjective. Yeah.
So I'm guessing the law is subjective to the law.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now I want to get into Miya attorneys. You've worked for the FIFA World Cup. Okay, please explain that to me. Explain that to me.
How does the
were you advising them on the field?
Yeah. How it happened, I was working for the National Gambling Board, and then I sent an application to one lady because I took a keen interest on World Cup, because the World Cup was coming to South Africa. Oh, yes. Everyone wanted to be part of it. Yes. So I was in touch with an agent, a very lovely lady, and she said, no, it's fine. You get an opportunity, come. And I took an opportunity to go join the World Cup. I always say it was not a growth in the space of the law where I was operating, but it was more of a sidestep, because when I looked at it, I imagined myself after the World Cup, because I knew that the World Cup was a short-term project. So I imagined and I said, So there could be opportunities after the World Cup because, I mean, FIFA is in Europe. So imagine going to Europe. So that's why I decided to explore that opportunity. But I was not in the football. I was more in the security department. Yes.
Okay. So you've just talked about you being in the World Cup and the National Gambling Board, and it sounds like it's a pretty comfy environment to be in. You actually are a registered lawyer, so you're in the system, you know. You can have a comfy 9 to 5, wake up, go to the office, come back, wait for your paycheck, no stress. And then you decide, you know what? No. The decision to go from that to opening your own law firm, before I even get to Miya Attorneys, I want to understand the psychology behind that. Was it a thing that you're saying, I'm tired of being bossed around? Was it a thing saying you want to make more change? Like, I just want to understand the psychology of adding this amount of pressure on myself.
Yeah. I had reached a ceiling. You know, in any environment, in any work environment, corporate or whatever, it's all about growing from one level to the next level and to the next. So I had reached a point where I saw that there was nothing else. There was no other position that I could move up to. I had reached a point of no growth. So I said, let me go and explore and open up my wings or spread my wings and do things that I know I'll be able to control and navigate even in spaces where there's limitations when you are employed. Because remember, when you're employed, you are confined to the policies of that organization and you know what you're supposed to do, how. But if you are self-employed, you set your rules, you know what you want to achieve. So I really just wanted to spread my wings and explore who really I was. Or I am, for that matter.
Yo, that's scary because you make it sound so easy, that you're making it so flow so easily. But I'll be honest, I'll talk to you now from a personal perspective, because I want to really understand now that final push, because you get to an environment and I understand that glass ceiling where you realize that there's nothing more I can do. But I'm trying to understand, is it courage, or do you have a plan first? Do you have a client in waiting? Like that decision to say, do you know what, I'm leaving now. Do you align your things first? Or did it come to you where you just said, Yazutin, I don't know. I have a plan in my head. I have the name. I have my confidence in myself. I am an incredible attorney. I'll see where it leads me. Or did you make your subtle moves and your planning? Because I don't want to mislead anyone. I don't want people saying, I'm frustrated in my job right now. I'm going to be, you know what, right now, letter of resignation. I want us to get into that planning perspective of making that move.
You know, when they say you can never be ready for anything, but you must just do it. You must just do it. I'm not gonna lie and say it did not give me sleepless nights. I'm not gonna lie and say I did not have a plan, because at least I was working a comfortable position, and so it at least gave me that cushion to say, even if there's no set income at the end of the month, but I knew that I could draw from my savings that I had. And then what happens after that, then we'll see. And I trusted the process, that the process is gonna hear that I want this thing. So I really trusted the process, and I really worked very hard to gain the clients that I had at the time. And the rest is
history. So now, let's take it back. Outside of you being an attorney, you're a mother. You're a sister to someone, you're a daughter and a granddaughter to, because I know you can have those savings planning for a rainy day for yourself, but now you need to think of all those projections around. Did that fear of ever hold you captive? Were there nights where you had sleepless nights with, oh my God, Nokwazi, what are we gonna do in the morning? And how did you combat that fear? Financial security fear.
For me, that was the fuel that kept me running. I just had to make it work. In business, it like anyone will tell you, I hear my colleagues as well, no 1 month is the same as the other. You can have a plan, but there are those things that are unplanned for that will happen, and then they will put you off. But you get knocked down and you rise again. You just have to make it work. You have to make it work because there's no one else that's just sitting there to give you money. I don't come from a wealthy family. My parents are not there. I'm not even, I don't even have that cushion or the trust fund to say, hey, daddy or mommy, please this, So I just really had to make it work. And if and when times were tough, I just had to stomach it and keep working and keep pushing. And it becomes very difficult because, you have a bond, you have responsibilities, you've got school fees, you've got this and that you have to pay for. And I would say by the grace of God, I'm still standing and but it's being self-employed is one of the hardest things, but the most rewarding, because you look at yourself and you look at how far you've come, and it may not even be the tangible things that you see, but the resilience that you have and the strength to keep going. It's amazing.
So I'm guessing after this, it's safe to call you Nokwazi Phoenix. Yeah, because through the ashes, she will rise like a phoenix and conquer. I love having that conversation because I think that's one thing other people fear, that change in the environment. Because in all of this, your change is going through you in your personal life. Your children can't be affected by those changes.
No, they can't, because they didn't ask for it. You decided on your own because you had a plan. And for me, even going back home, it was not even an option because I was in Richards Bay and I had to make it work. Yeah.
So I want to find out, I suffer from this a lot, and I know some of our viewers, I call it imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Where you in it, you living it, you doing it, but there's but there's that voice that's going to ask you, what are you doing here? Yeah. You don't belong here. Yeah. Do you see the people that you are sitting next to? Yeah. Do you ever have that voice where we maybe fight a big client, like somebody from the municipality or some chairperson of some board, and you in a legal battle with them, or you're serving your clients, and you're sitting there and you're like, yo, what am I doing here? I don't belong here. Does that voice ever come to you? And how do you deal with that?
Not anymore, hey?
Oh.
Not anymore.
So there's hope.
Yes, of course. But that comes with confidence. And the confidence comes from, for example, if you're going to a meeting, you have to know, you have to be prepared. You have to prepare for your meeting. And also, why can't I sit with the top dogs? Why can't I? Because we all went to the same school. We all learned the same syllabus, and we have the same qualifications. We were all admitted in the same court. So what makes me different? But in order for you to get to that level, you need to psych yourself and tell yourself that you belong in those rooms. Yes, there will be instances where you feel intimidated by your opponent, but not to the level where you feel you do not belong in those rooms. So I think that there's that difference. There will be fear, and fear is good because it still tells you that you are a person, you are still in touch with who you are. So the fear is good, but in terms of saying I don't belong in those rooms, I belong everywhere.
I love how we basically, and this is a new thing I think I'm gonna take into my life, to actually use the fear as fuel, not as a hindrance.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever look at it that way.
No, I was, my job is to talk.
Yes.
So I talk to people. So I was speaking to this advocate, a senior advocate, and I said, but how do you just breeze through court? And, you're speaking to this judge and, you're speaking so nicely and confidently. He says, no. It's not because I don't get scared. I do get scared because, that fear, as I'm saying, it still shows that you are a human being, but nothing beats preparation, because if you are prepared for your argument, then that confidence will automatically come, you see. So, fear, we just need to use our fear as fuel. But you need to also gauge. You mustn't be, be fearful to a point where you are unable to express yourself and you're now timid and people just walk all over you. You can't. You need to draw a line. But also, as I say, it comes with maturity. It comes with being prepared and confidence.
I love when you speak about preparedness. I once saw this quote that says, luck is when opportunity meets preparedness. And I think throughout our conversation, you've been putting major reference on that. And I appreciate that, because I think sometimes we also let ourselves down of doing things last minute, not committing, not being fully prepared, and being surprised and shocked when things don't work out. And with that, I just want to quickly go back to the World Cup. I know it was like for years,
2.5 years.
Well, that obviously the planning process going towards and everything like that, and the spillover from that, and that was big for me because now that is global, and you're talking now about rules and organizational settings that have been set in place. So I just want to find out, with that chaos, with that busyness, with that turmoil, with the pride and joy you had with getting that, have you taken any of those lessons from being part of that committee to Miya attorneys now, that you can actually proudly say that we can all have law firms, but you don't have the experience I have? Because somebody said you have got 20 years experience, not even somebody in profile, and I was like, 20 years where? Were you in primary? Kazululi and King in primary. So what have you captured from that and applied to Miya attorneys?
The World Cup was a project, and with any project you need to plan. You need to have a strategy. You need to plan from start to finish. So I've taken that into the firm and into all other projects that I get into, and it helps in a way because you are able to see where you are lacking, and you are able to also measure yourself in terms of whether you are indeed sticking to your plan and if everything is going according to your plan. But it doesn't mean that your plan will be foolproof, because obviously there are events that are unplanned for, that will take place or that will happen. But for me, that standard of planning is what I implement in my everyday life, and also in in the company that I work for, because I'm also an employee.
Actually,
yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you so much. I'm glad to know that we can proudly say that it's Miya Attorneys is not like any other attorney.
No,
Definitely not.
no, definitely not. Because I think also it helped me to be in the corporate space, because some of the things that you implement when you are faced with a client are things that you have gone through, things that you have been exposed to previously. Like, for example, I work for the municipality. So the issues that a client will come with that arise maybe from a dispute with the municipality, I would know how to navigate, because I've been on the inside. So that becomes an advantage, in a way. I'm not like an attorney that went to school, did articles, and then went to a law firm. So my experience is quite versatile. It includes private sector, it includes public sector, and as you said, World Cup experience that cannot be compared to anything.
That is true. So I want to get into something fun. A little birdie told me that you like it. You like football. So I'm trying to understand this glamorous attorney in front of me. With soccer, how did that passion and love start off? Let's start there.
From home. I grew up in a home where my uncle, whom I love the most, may his soul rest in peace, he was a Kaizer Chiefs. He's the one that introduced me to football. Yeah. So every Saturday, because he was a teacher or an educator these days, he was a teacher, so every Saturday he would go and play football, and every chance I got, I would watch him, but I wasn't allowed. But if I'm sent to the touch shop, maybe I'd see them, but then he would come back with the kids from the practice, and I would watch it. So, but I love football from that young age, and I grew up knowing Kaizer Chiefs was the only team, and then my father was a Pirates fan. So
those dynamics, I can imagine.
So you can imagine it was just the clash of the Titans, because at that time it was if Chiefs losers or if Pirates loses, you'd feel it. So it started from a young age. So joining the World Cup, it was also, I think, for me, a step in that direction, because I got to experience international players and to see them and to actually, rub shoulders with them. So it was love for football as well.
I can just imagine little Nokwazi now getting into that World Cup space, and because some of those names, as much as obviously from the time you were young and the time the 12 to 10, some of them were big, but as you growing up, those names come up, the people around you talk about them, and now you're sitting in those avenues with them, And I love soccer. Soccer is a very big part of our identity as South Africans. We all Kaizer Chiefs. Like in my family, we're not allowed to be anything else but, So I want to find out with you, being such a lover of soccer, and I feel like you understand soccer just not outside of just being a fan of the players, but understanding the game.
Yeah.
Are there any tactics that you've held, like a mashibobo, number 5 defense, matikateka kind of vibe that you've applied, pagi bus kind of a defense that you've applied to your strategy in the courtroom?
Yes. Soccer or football has different dynamics. So there's a 4-4-2 formation, and there's different formations. So depending on the challenge or the problem that you have at the time, you are able to apply the formulas that are applied in football. But football is quite different, because it invokes a lot of emotions. You are either extremely happy because your team won, or you are very sad to an extent that you don't even want to eat because your team has lost. But the difference with the law and the courtroom is that you cannot display your emotions. So you have to be emotionally intelligent. You have to be very strong emotionally, because if you display any emotions in a courtroom, remember, this is not your matter. You are representing a client. And so why are you attaching emotions? I know that sounds like, okay,
I get it.
Yeah. Because once your judgment is clouded by emotions, then you know what happens. You can even smash someone. Hit someone. So the courtroom is different in that sense, in a sense that you have to apply the law as it is. You apply the law and you interpret it the way you understand it. So that is the difference with football. Yes, football and the law, they have rules which are very strict, because if you don't comply, then you get a penalty, you get a red card, yellow card, then whatever not. Yes. And it's the same thing with the courts. So in that sense, they're almost similar in a sense that they're governed, the law is very strict in terms of its application in football and in the courtroom. So there are those similarities. But in terms of strategy, yes, I have used certain strategies, and they do work, because as much as you might be using the law, but because you are not a robot, you're not programmed, you must still use your independent thinking and apply what you learned in school and what you've seen work in previous cases.
I love that you say that obviously the correspondence between soccer and you in your field. I can imagine, Nokwazi, you there now, jersey number 10. The lead striker of the team. Faced with the penalty shot. Do you feel that way? Do you I want to put it obviously respectfully, that basically the courtroom is like your soccer field. Do you see yourself as striker, where it's just when it's you in the penalty box, it's in? Do you implement the team player kind of? Because I think in soccer and football, it's you've got the best players, but you've got the defenders. You've got the middle fielders. Sometimes you're the coach. So how is that, all those positions, have you placed them in Miya attorneys?
The other positions, they come before you get into court and you're standing before the court. But once you are in the court, you become number 10. You can't have your team unless if it's other matters where maybe it's trial and you need to reference and all of that, but you would be asking for maybe for someone to pass you that information. But in terms of what you are doing in court, it's just you, your voice, your mind, your preparation, that is before the court. Either you're addressing a magistrate, or you're addressing a judge, or you're addressing a commissioner, because it's not only the court, but whenever you are seated where there's a presiding officer, it's just you and you. So you become number 10. Just that it's becoming a striker or being a striker in a courtroom does not really guarantee that you're going to score a goal.
That's true. That's true.
It's the same as in football, but the court works differently, because you can know the law, but the presiding officer can say, no, that is not how I see it. So red
the
card,
goalkeeper.
no, it's not.
So just a quick one. I want to get into the cross-examination. That adrenaline that goes into that. Because another thing, I'll be honest with you and say we've sometimes kind of glamorized the law field because there's so many documentaries right now, that are sometimes over dramatized. Is a courtroom cross-examination as intense as we see it on the television? Or how is it? Was there like adrenaline rush during a strike that goes into your... I just want to understand just that small part of the cross-examination.
Okay. What is nice about the system in our country is that it has opened up the courts, and people are now able to get a feel of what happens inside a courtroom. So what you see with, for example, the case of Miya, I'm going to make that one as an example, is exactly what the court is. So cross-examination is when you get questioned about the events of that particular case. And the aim of you being cross-examined is so that I get the truth out of you, so that I win at the end of the day, or differently put, so that my side or my submissions are admitted or accepted by the court. So it is a very a difficult process, and as a cross-examiner, you have to really know what you're doing. You have to you have to have very good listening skills, because this person is talking, and you have to ask them questions. You have to really think fast. You have to be prepared for your case and be prepared for answers that this person is going to give you, because I believe that a cross-examiner will ask questions that they probably have answers to. Because if you ask a question that you do not have an answer to, or that you do not anticipate an answer, then you're going to be very surprised.
While you're on that, I just want to go and we'll reference, because we made reference to the Miya case. And one thing we've discovered is that there is a huge social media buzz.
Yeah.
Right now, there's it's called Court of Public Appeal. Or something.
Opinion.
Yes, public opinion.
Yeah.
You know. And that has definitely changed over the years. Like you said, courts have now opened up the courts to the public. But now we're not just sitting there. We don't even have to be there. We'll be on our phones, and you've got keyboard warriors, who will be you working on a case, and they'll be they don't even have any notion of what you're talking about. But I feel like, why did you not answer this? Why did you how has that, with social media now being involved so much, does that in any way, I don't say disturb, but is there any effect that you said, what did you say, the courts of public opinion?
Yeah.
Does that have any effect in real courts right now, in an honest opinion?
The cases that are decided in courts are based on facts. Okay. So the facts that are before the court are what the court is going to consider in making its determination or decision. So you can say whatever you want to say. You can say so-and-so is guilty. You can say they're not guilty. But if the evidence that is before the court says that this person is guilty, then that's the verdict that the court is going to hand down. So it as much as the opinions of the public carry weight, but that weight does not persuade the court in taking its decision, because the courts operate under the principles that are placed by the Constitution, that everyone is equal before the law, that you are presumed innocent before you are found guilty. So those are the legal principles that are founded in the Constitution. So the court, imagine if the court were to take what social media says And also another thing, the court works with the documents or the evidence that is before it. So if there's no evidence, or if that keyboard warrior is not before court, the court is not even going to consider that. Then yes, it's something that maybe the judge or the presiding officer may say that in the public opinion, this is how things seem, but the presiding officer will be guided by the facts and the evidence of that case.
It's glad to know. I'm not gonna lie, it's very settling, because when you don't know the information, you kind of think, that this is it, because we're not gonna run away from the fact that social media right now is a key, both negative and positive.
Yeah.
On that note, you're the chair of
Pelisa
Foundation, and A Woman in Me network.
Yes.
So I can basically say you are very passionate about being the voice of the voiceless.
Yes.
But who is Nokwazi's voice? Who is your spokesperson? Who is the person that when you fought all these battles and you've been a comforter to all your clients, who do you go to?
Who do I draw strength from?
Yes.
Yeah. I am fortunate that I've got a family that is very supportive, and my kids. I don't know if are they still children, if they're above 16, 15.
Big children.
Big children. Yeah. They are my source of strength, and they become my voice of reason. And another thing I've got, as you go through life and navigate life, you get to meet friends that become family. Yeah. So when I say family, I'm referring to that circle that I have. So I've got people that I know that when things are not going well, I pick up a phone and say, hey, can we meet? Or I just drive and say, hey, listen, this is what is happening, and I'm able to draw strength from. So yeah, because a person can never survive on their own. You can't. I don't think it's possible for you to just be an island, because then where do you draw strength from? Yeah. So my family and my friends are a big support structure for me.
It's beautiful to hear and find out that attorney Miya is also human. After all, I know your clients, I know your the people that you work with will obviously see you as the superhuman. But it's nice having that space. And I think that's where a lot of people get it wrong, that they want to be powerful and strong in the boardroom, in the courtroom, in their workplaces, but they forget, especially as a woman. I don't think society actually allows this woman to be soft. Yeah. And how do you do? Because you're in a very male-dominated. Yes, times have changed, but the institution itself,
it's still very male-dominated.
Male-dominated.
Yes.
So how do you continue being strong, powerful, but also being into your femininity? Because we're just pretty flowers, guys. Strong, pretty flowers. We want to be the rose, but we don't want people afraid of our thoughts as well. So how do you navigate that?
I am still a woman. I'm still soft. I'm still I still get affected by things. I still get overwhelmed by emotions. But when it comes to getting business done, you just have to get the business done. And then, sometimes you because of the demands or what life demands of you, you just have to pack certain problems and then move along. But it also helps to take care of yourself, to take care of your mental health, to take care of your physical health. So I gym, I run. So those things also contribute to being able to navigate through life, because even when the pressure becomes too much, then I'm able to go to gym and just relieve that stress and be able to just then go back to whatever a challenge that I may have been faced with, and maybe come up with a solution. Because when you're out there, in the bushes, you're able to then, think and be by yourself and be able to try and find a solution. So it really helps me to prioritize my mental health, because someone said, I think it's one of the coaches, I said, if you have 2,000 rands and you want that sneaker, and it costs 1,800, buy that sneaker, because your mental health is important. So I've actually learned to prioritize my mental health as well.
More than anything. Nokwazi, you've built a multi-province practice. If Miya attorneys had a Bible, what values will you have, like in bold on that first page as you open it, that represents the values of Miya attorneys?
Humility, respect, relentlessness. Those are key for me. I understand that we are hardworking and driven, but for me to still be human and be at a level of your clients, be able to say, I understand what you are going through, and be able to go out there and fight for the rights of your clients. For me, that is number one. But for me, humility is everything.
So we've been on a very visual journey on our conversation today, and I want you to visualize it one last time. You're in a courtroom filled with young Black female aspiring. Visualize it. And they're sitting there in their robes, officially admitted. What do you say to them? Like, give me like a 30-second closing argument, but to give them the energy to continue and carry on, and just to secure the next generation of Nokwazi, Miya. And you've been through this journey 20 years with all this experience. They're sitting there, they're looking at you, 30-second, in that closing argument spirit. What do you say to them?
Students.
Yes.
You are going into a career of representing lives of people. And forget that you are a lawyer and allow yourself to be teachable, because as you embark on becoming a candidate practitioner, and this is a learning journey for you, so allow yourself to be teachable. Learn as much as possible, and try to enjoy it while you are at it, because you are in it for a long time. And law is about learning every day. Every day you learn a new thing. Every day you learn a new thing. So that's what I would tell them. But as I said, when you ask me about the values, they must be respectful, remain a person, and humility will take you everywhere. I'm not saying be a doormat, but we are in an era where we see youth pushing their rights, and they've got rights and all of those things. But if you are coming to become a candidate practitioner, yes, you've got rights, but try and not push the
mentality forward.
Exactly. Be teachable. Remember that you are going there to learn from the people that have walked in this field longer than you have. So trust them and take their teachings. And if they do that, then they should be fine. They should be fine.
So now this is a question I ask all my top women who I sit down and have a conversation.
Am I a top woman?
Girl, please.
I don't even know
What's the clock?
Oh. Okay.
So now we're doing a 360. We've gone on the journey. I've discovered a bit from you, from your childhood, as you grow up, and you as Nokwazi, Miya, and the attorney as well, and practitioner. So I want to go back now. You now in a rocking chair. You're sitting alone. You've fulfilled yourself. You've done where you are currently now. You're gonna imagine add another 50 years experience on this 20. You're sitting on your rocking chair. You're seeing your grandbabies or great grandbabies. They're playing on the field. What would you say to the 7-year-old Nokwazi Miya?
Yeah, I would say to that baby girl that the sky is the limit. You have not even seen the things that you are going to achieve in this life, because this life is a journey. I'm not I'm not a religious person that much, and I don't want to talk on spirituality, but I understand that in this life, it's all about you. It's all about discovering the purpose for which you had been placed on this earth. So I would say to her, the sky is the limit. You have a long road to go. Whatever you decide, it's the right path. Whatever decision you take, you must just stick with it, because that decision that you take will live with you or will be with you for the rest of your life. So I would tell her to love herself, to appreciate herself, to not doubt herself, to not look down and believe the naysayers that will say, you're not capable and you cannot do this and you don't belong here, and to live to her full potential, because baby girl, the sky is the limit. And as old or matured as I am, I do believe that there's still a lot that I need to learn in this earth, and in my personal space and also in the workspace, because as I said, the law, you learn each and every day. So it's the same with life. You learn new things every day, and we just need to be open to learning and open to experiences, and knowing that not being hard on ourselves, because sometimes you make mistakes along the way, but those are your mistakes. But because I made a mistake and I'm measuring myself with Zama, so I'm going to be hard on myself and I'm going to talk down on myself and call myself useless. No. A mistake is just a way of teaching you that you can actually do better. We need to learn from our mistakes, way to, and be better people, and understand that life is all about learning and self-discovery. That's what I would say to myself.
I'm sorry, but I feel like I wish I was the Nokwazi Miya at 7, because I'd be motivated over and above. Sis Miya, thank you so much, Sis Nokwazi, for sitting down with us and inspiring a nation and a future generation.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm very humbled for this opportunity to sitting down with you, and I'm wishing you all the best.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here first. the amazing Nokwazi Miya, as she took us through her journey from being a young girl from Ladysmith Mnambiti to being a top brass attorney with her offices based in Richards Bay and just killing the game right now. Make sure to check us again next week as we sit with another top woman and we find out how she went from zero to hero while still holding and carrying the crown. My name is Zama King Meklo, your host with the most.